Okay, hello everybody and welcome to my sourdough tutorial. So we're gonna start off with a recently fed sourdough starter. You can tell it's ready because it's nice and bubbly. And what I normally do is I only feed about a tablespoon amount of my sourdough starter. It helps it keep it stronger, more virulent. Anyway, so you have to start the night before. So yesterday I took my little tablespoon of sourdough starter and I fed it 60 grams of distilled water and 60 grams of flour. You mix it together and then you put it in your jar and mix it up, and then you just let it sit. And then once it's all bubbly, it's ready to go. And I normally do this at night, so this is why my lighting isn't that great, because I like to let it ferment overnight. So I'm going to take pretty much most of this, and I never measure my sourdough starter making my bread. I just scoop out most of it, put it in my bowl. Then you're gonna add 1 3/4 cups warm water. I put it in the microwave for about 45 seconds. That normally will do it. And I like to use distilled water as well, because you never know what is in your water and it might kill your sourdough starter. Then you're gonna take 4 1/4 cups flour and 1 teaspoon salt. Make sure you add your salt very, very, very last. Okay, so here's my steps. I put the starter in and then I add my water first. And then I just mix this up until it's pretty much combined. Then I add my 4 1/4 cups flour and my teaspoon salt. So basically, you're gonna mix it until it turns into a shaggy dough. You can see all the shag. I wonder where I got that name from. Okay, I forgot to mention, once your shaggy dough is made, I just cover it and let it sit for a half an hour. After a half an hour, you're just gonna come and take your dough. Sorry, it's kind of hard to do it one-handed. And you're just gonna pick it up and fold it. And you're gonna see it's already starting to create some looser dough. You just kind of work in the dry parts. And the more you mess with it, the better. Like, you can pick it up and jiggle it, but you're just gonna pick it up and fold. And pick up and fold. So after your first folding, put your lid back on and then just set it aside again for a half hour up to an hour. Time really doesn't make a difference, just it needs to sit for a little bit longer. Do one more folding, do at least 3 folds. I like to just mess with it until it gets a nice little ball. You're gonna notice your second time it's gonna be less shaggy and more gluten is going to be created. After your second folding, put the lid on and then set it somewhere decently warm. It doesn't have to be really warm. I just like to put it up on a higher shelf, you know, where the heat rises. Let it sit overnight, and then I will follow up tomorrow with what to do next. Okay, so this is your fermented dough that sat overnight. You're gonna wanna use, I like to use rice flour. It works amazing. I just use the lid to my bowl. And then have your Dutch oven lined with parchment paper ready to go, along with clear plastic wrap. So what you're gonna do is you're just going to pull out your dough. You can use a dough scraper, but I just use my fingers. It's not a big deal. And then you're just gonna start pulling and folding and pulling and folding. Until you get a nice little ball of dough. You're gonna put this in your Dutch oven. You're gonna put your plastic wrap on top. And you're gonna cover it. And then you're just gonna let this sit for an hour on up. Honestly, whenever I can get to it, I'll get to it. Then you're gonna preheat your oven to 450. Once it's preheated, take off your plastic wrap, put your Dutch oven in, bake it for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, remove the lid and bake it for another 16 to 18 minutes, depending on how dark. And there you have it. This one got a little bubbly. It still has good substance, but my oldest was supposed to put it in the oven and she didn't. And so when I got home from church, I had to put it in. But anyway, there you go. Let me know if you have any questions.